everyone, my name is Sarah Rogers and I'm from Profolio. Thank you for joining me today to take part in our 4-part budgeting workshop. Having a good idea about how much it costs to run you is one of the single most important things you can do for yourself financially. You won't be able to work your way to financial freedom and getting ahead by doing things like investing or paying down debt if you don't have a good idea of how much it costs to run you. What I'm talking about here is how much it costs to keep the dog fed and a roof over your head. Unfortunately, knowing this number is a rarity for most Australians because budgeting is just not something we really get taught in schools. So before I lose you thinking this is just too hard and you don't want to spend all your spare time poring over numbers in Excel, it's not about that at all. This system's about once you put it in place, you let it look after itself. I'm terrible at budgeting. Who has time for all that number entering? But what I do have is a good, solid understanding around my numbers. This program is about teaching you to understand your numbers so you too can have a solid understanding around what it takes to run you. So how does it work? Over the years, I've worked with many clients to work on their budgets and also working on my own. And this is the system that I've came up with that I find works best. So first of all, we need to work out how much you're earning, and then we divide that up into 3 different buckets. So let me show you now what I'm talking about. So your first bucket, this is what we call your spending bucket. This is made up of 5% of your money that you spend on food, 5% that you spend on fuel and transport, 20% is money for you. So this is your splurge money. This is the money that you don't need to feel bad about spending. You can go out and buy your weekly coffee or whatever it is and not feel guilty. We've allocated this so you can still live the life that you want to live. The second bucket is your expenses. So this is made up of 30%, which is used to pay your rent or your mortgage, 10% which pays utilities, so that's power, gas, water, broadband, phones, Netflix, 5% which pays your car costs, 5% that pays any insurances. Your third bucket is probably the most important bucket, and this is your savings bucket. So this is made up of 5% that you put towards holidays and big ticket items to try and get you out of using credit to pay for the new fridge when it breaks or things like that. And 15% that you can use to help pay off debt or use for investing. Now hold up, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's great, these numbers work for you or somebody on the average income, but they don't work for me. But the funny thing is they do, because the more money you earn or the less money you earn, the less you spend or the more you spend. So anytime you get a pay rise, you spend that money. You go out and you buy a nice new house or a nice pretty shiny car, and you live off the same sort of money that you were before. So there is exceptions to this, like having a young family. That's probably one of the most expensive things that you're going to go through. And your figures might be a little bit out from this because of that. But that's fine. Just adapt it to what you need to adapt it at that time. Now it's time to move on to the next step and find out what your numbers are.